Hey, I see y'all tapping in right away, man. Top of it. Top of it to everybody, man. I see y'all. I see y'all, man. Y'all see the pimping is up bright and early this morning, man. The sun is steaming, willy beaming in my eyes right now. You know the birds is out here serenading the pimp this morning. It's a beautiful day, and it's a blessing to be here. You dig? But yeah, man. I today we gonna talk about a pimp making sure that hoe shining just like he shining. You dig? Hold on. Everybody tapping in. I see them viewers is going up. They fluctuating up and down, man. Top of it, man. I see y'all. Marcus Mitchell, Chief Nakaho, J Nard, Biz Phoenix. I see y'all, man. Yeah, man. We outside, man. I'm in this Arizona, man. As you can see, it's a beautiful day today. It's a beautiful morning this morning. I know it's about to be afternoon on that East Coast, man, but over here in this West, man, you see it's a beautiful thing, man. You see a pimp, fresh up. A lot of people probably think I just got up and just got fresh, you know what I mean? But I've been down all night, though, you know what I mean? Doing what we do. You dig? Top of it to everybody, though, man. You see the sun is bright than a motherfucker over here where I'm at. You know what I mean? It's not a cloud in the sky. Shit. It's feeling like 80 degrees already. It probably ain't that warm just yet, though. It's probably a good 70, 75 maybe. I ain't checked the weather just yet. You dig? But yeah, man, like I said, today we're gonna talk about that hoe shining just like the pimping is shining. You dig? Because it's a big misconception about the pimping being selfish. It's a big misconception about the pimping only concerning himself with himself shining and not concerning himself with that hoe shining, man, or those hoes shining. But a smart pimp believes in the golden rule: do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. You dig? And then it only makes sense. If you got a family, how much sense would it make? How is it even really possible for you to maintain this family and you the only one shining? You the only one looking good. You the only one, there's something to behold. You the only one that's a showstopper in the mix. And you got a whole bunch of bitches representing you the total opposite, the total flip side of that coin. It's impossible, man. A real gentleman in this game, he's gonna make sure that his game is shining just like he's shining, you dig? And we all shining like that sun up there that's trying to Ray Charles a pimp right now, you dig? But yeah, man, you know, the ism gonna make sure that his work is shining just like he's shining. His game, the ones that's under his tutelage. He gonna make sure that they shining just like him, man. You know, uh, Now the ism may talk a lot about him shining himself. You dig? But the ism is his own campaign. So, in the ism has high standards. The ism, once we get accustomed to this lifestyle, we get accustomed to nice things and having what we want, doing what we want, being what we want. You dig? So, of course, the ism is going to talk about himself shining. But a lot of females in the game, or even outside the game, especially even more so, get this misconception that the ism, because he talks about himself shining, his only concern is himself shining. You know? But with any real gentleman in the game, it goes without saying. If I'm shining, if you see me looking like this, if you see me looking like a million, you know, if you see me being a showstopper when I step on the scene, all eyes on me like on some Tupac shit, it only makes sense that my game is shining as well. Now because because the ism is not the most favorite in the world, it's actually probably the least favorite type of man in the world. We keep a lot of things low key. We don't like everybody to see what's going on. We don't like everybody to make associations, especially between the pimping and the hoeing, you know. But in their household, they know what's up. And within the game, everybody who's supposed to know what's up knows what's up. So, but the bottom line is, you're going to see them shining. And different P's had their different signatures, signature ways that they like to make their game shine. But you got to take care of the game. You got to take care of your work. You got to take care of your ladies if you expect them to take care of you. Man, y'all got to excuse me, man. Excuse me. I don't know, man. Someone was trying to come against this game and interrupt me, man. But as you can see, we back at it, man. Uh, hopefully it notify y'all so y'all could come back in, man, and we could resume where we left off. Yeah, man. Let me see these comments. Let me see these comments. Top of it to y'all. I see y'all, man. You see they trying to come against this game this morning, right? But hey, we gonna keep the ball rolling. We gonna keep it moving. You know, they might be able to try to slow it down, but they ain't gonna be able to stop this shit though. You know what I mean? All gas, no brakes this morning. No brakes or no brakes. We ain't taking no breaks. We ain't pumping no brakes. You dig with this shit though? Yeah, yeah, man. Nah, they can't stop this pivot, man. They trying to, though, know what I mean? But trying is dying. Either you do or you don't. And that's something that they don't do is stop this shit, though, know what I mean? The powers that be, I don't know if it's Mother Nature or what. Let me see what y'all talking about. Yeah, man, like you say, Jay Jones, you know what I mean? Uh, the horn is representing the pimping. The horn is a reflection of the pimping. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of times the ism's best campaign is for his work to look good. So if I'm looking good, it only makes sense for my work to, look good like I do. You dig? I'm a healthy individual. I like to have young ladies that's healthy. I'm into fitness as well, health and fitness, man. I like to have young ladies that's into health and fitness, you know, in shape, looking good, feeling good, being good, doing good, the whole nine. You dig? It only makes sense. Now, it ain't no knock to nobody. It's not to throw no shade or nothing like that, but it only makes sense. If I'm a healthy individual and my game is a reflection of me, the young ladies who represent me are supposed to be a reflection of me, then it only makes sense for me to have like-minded young ladies that's on the same page, you know, living the same way that I'm living, moving the same way that I'm moving, shining the same way that I'm shining. You dig? They might not be grinding the same way that I'm grinding. You dig? I definitely ain't grinding the way they doing, you know what I mean? But we all shining nonetheless and grinding nonetheless, you know what I mean? We grind so we can shine. You dig? A lot of motherfuckers in the game want to shine, but they forget to put the grind in order to get the shine. But the bottom line is, man, the the game is supposed to be a reflection of the ism. So if I look like this, I want my game to look like this too. I got people tapping in from all over the place, man. But yeah, man. Cause what motivated me to even talk about this on this live this morning, man. If y'all remember, I believe it was part 1 of feeling the spirit of pimping and hoeing. I'm gonna put out a few parts. It's gonna be at least 4 or 5 parts. Yesterday I put out part 2. Wednesday I put out part 1. And a young lady seen part 1, and I made a statement about, hoes jumping in and out of cars to make sure a pimp shine like a star around here, man. And she really had it misunderstood. Like, oh no, I ain't gonna be jumping in and out of cars so you can shine like a star. What about me? Why I can't shine too? Woo, woo, woo. And it's just so funny. And then she also said, y'all don't know what we go through uh, for y'all's sake. These peas don't know what we go through for them. This was her words, right? So she got me under the impression that either she's messing with a P or she done messed with a P at some point in time. Then I go to her page and she over there with a girlfriend that got kind of boyish mannerisms and things like that. I guess y'all call them studs or whatever the case may be. But I go to her page and that's who she representing. I guess that's who she supposed to be a reflection of. And I don't know if she called herself trying to build a pimp out of this little girl or whatever the case may be, but it just wasn't a good look. If you gonna make a statement, you have to make statements that's in tune with your walk. You gotta walk the same way that you talking. Really, you should be walking greater than you talking. But unfortunately, we live in a time today, man, where anybody could talk good, but the walk ain't gotta be too great at all. You know what I mean? I live under the philosophy that I talk a good one, but I walk a great one, though. You know what I mean? As great as you may believe that I talk, I walk that much greater. I'm really intentional about that. I'm really serious about that. So that's what I do. You dig? And like I say, within all of that, man, the game is a reflection of the game. The game that I put into a young lady reflects as a result of me being the one putting it in them. You dig? Oh yeah, man, the health and fitness thing, man, is a beautiful thing. Now me, I ain't never been no forceful type of individual. There are cases where a young lady might call herself wanting to come fuck with me, but she ain't dedicated to the health and fitness thing, and she ain't got no plans to be or anything like that. But you know, um, this ism just has a tendency to be very influential. If you spend enough time around me, it's only natural for you to pick up certain habits. If we moving and grooving together on a daily basis, we interaction and functioning with each other on a daily basis, I'm constantly depositing game in your mental bank account. You dig? It's only natural for you to pick up certain habits. Like I say, I don't force anybody to do anything, but one thing I am is very, very influential with this shit though. You dig? So yeah, and a young lady should want to better herself. That's one thing that scares a lot of young ladies away, but I like it though because it lets me know that they might not be strong enough to handle what it is that I'm putting out. A lot of young cause see me, my turn up is just off the game. I get high off the game. That's the only mind altering substance that I'm under the influence of, man, is this game. You dig? But because of that, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. I don't do any of that. I really love myself. And when I say I love myself, I'm not just describing how I feel about myself, but I love myself through my actions. I actively love myself. When I go to the gym every day, that's me actively loving myself. When I put healthy food into my body, that's me actively loving myself. When I pop this game to y'all, that's me actively loving myself as well as y'all, as well as the game. I'm showing love to the game, but this is me actively loving myself because this is me exercising. Just like I go in the gym and exercise my body, this is me exercising my game right here, right now. You dig? So, like they say, you gotta you lose what you don't use, man. So I do my best to use this as much as possible. Every waking moment, I'm using the game in some type of way. So, like I say, this is me actively loving myself. So that's a turnoff to a lot of young ladies. I don't know if you would call it a turnoff or intimidation or whatever the case may be, but they be turning a deaf ear, a blind eye, and a closed mind to this shit when they see it coming on so strong. A lot of and then a lot of ladies They do tend to be intimidated. They think it's too much for them, or that they ain't on that level, or whatever the case may be. But they don't give themselves the opportunity. You know, a lot of like I've said before, a lot of young ladies want to shine. They want to reap the benefits of a real young lady in this lifestyle, but they don't want to be responsible for what it takes to reap the benefits. If you want to shine, you got to make the shine happen. The shine ain't gonna just come to you. The shine ain't gonna just fall in your lap out the sky one day. You got to really make it happen. You got to put the work in. You got to be proactive as opposed to reactive. See, this ism, you know what I mean? The ism is proactive all the time. So you can't have some proactive ism and you're a reactive young lady and you get with this proactive ism and you got a reactive mindset. So this mindset that you're operating under got you moving in a reactive type fashion. You're going to have reactive results, which is kind of like rolling the dice, but you got even worse odds than the dice. You're going to crap out a lot of times. You might get lucky and hit naturals one time or another, 7 or 11, but if 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 it's not calculated, then when it's calculated, it's proactive. You taking more of a gamble. You taking more of a chance when it's reactive because you're leaving things outside of your control. See, when you proactive, that means you taking charge. You have it. You operating. You using everything that's within your control. You focused on what's within your control in order to make things happen. But when you have a reactive outlook on things, a reactive outlook on the situation, then you're surrendering the power to everything and everybody around you. You know, you're waiting for things to happen and then you react to that. And as I say all the time, success don't work that way. So if you want to shine with the ism, you got to have the same mindset as the ism. You got to be willing to grind like the ism. If you're going to shine with the ism, it only makes sense. It's a price to pay. And that price ain't always necessarily just money. It's a whole lot of factors in this game besides just money. And what people don't understand, man, what people don't understand is when you focus, when you got tunnel vision so much on money, and that's the only thing that you're concerned about, you neglecting a whole lot of areas in the game and in your life that makes it possible for you to get to the money. You know what I mean? If you got legs and you don't take care of your legs, you ain't gonna be able to walk to the money. If you got a mouth but you don't exercise your mouthpiece, you're not gonna be able to talk for the money. You got a mind, but if you don't exercise, feed, and nurture your mind, you ain't gonna be able to think for the money. You gotta work this shit, you know. And what people don't understand is when you exercise your mind on a regular basis, when you exercise your mouthpiece on a regular basis, like I'm doing with y'all right now, when you exercise your body on a regular basis, when you exercise, nurture, and feed your soul on a regular basis, it makes you more powerful. So anything that you do, it's gonna happen a lot more effectively than it would if you neglecting these things. So, like I say, you got to be proactive with this shit though. You dig? It only makes sense. You got to do what makes sense to make these dollars in this game. You dig? You know, it's a trip, man. I was talking to a young lady last night, man, and see, it's sad that it's so many cats representing the game, man. That's why I be telling people all the time, man. I love expressing the game to y'all, cause I can't save the world. I can't get everybody to see things ideally. I'm not perfect, so everything I see might not be on track, and every individual is different. So what works for me may not work for you, but I do my best to get everybody to have some type of fundamentally proper outlook on the game, man. Because if we have more representatives of the game, that had a gentleman-like nature about themselves, and they presented themselves and conducted themselves as gentlemen, then the ism would have a much better uh, perception. People would see the ism in a whole lot better light if more of us represented ourselves like gentlemen. So, I do my best to lead by example and touch as many as I can. Of course, I ain't gonna never be able to touch everybody in the game, but I do my best to touch as many people in the game as I can. You know, because one thing about this real shit, it might take a little while for certain people to get to it or take to it. Some people ain't gonna take to it at all, but once you do take to this shit, it's really infectious though. You dig? So I do my best to be infectious and contagious with this shit, man, and let it spread through as many individuals in the game as I can. Because I want to see the game get better. A lot of people done lost hope in the game. A lot of people think that the game is just like at the point of no return where it ain't gonna get no better. But it's gonna get better, man. That's the way I see it. I see that it's got to a point where it can't go no more further down. The only way to go up, the only way to go now is up. That's the only thing that makes sense, man. It can't get too much worse. You dig? It can get probably a little bit worse, but not too much though. I mean, it's about as bad as it can get right now. You dig? So the only thing left to do is restore this shit. So I do my best to do that because, like I said, you got more gentlemen in the game. We have a better perception. A lot of people gonna see us in a much different light. You dig? Just like they did once upon a time back in the days. And when it's like that, then the young ladies ain't gonna be so standoffish towards the ism. It's a sad time in the game right now when you got so many supposed to be hoes that when they see when they even think of pimping, they think of something bad. You know, the pimping is supposed to make a bitch feel like good. You know what I mean? A bitch supposed to feel good when she see the pimping, when she talk to the pimping, when she think about the pimping, she's supposed to think of something good. When she see it, she's supposed to see something good. When she hears, she's supposed to hear something good. Like everything about the ism, when it comes to these hoes, they supposed to have a totally good concept of what this shit is. But most bitches in the game, let's just be real about it. You know what I mean? Most of them in the game, when they think of this shit, they think of something bad. They think of somebody that's just a taker. Somebody that's just a leech. Somebody that's just no good. Somebody that's a liability as opposed to an asset. And it's not supposed to be like that, man. It's supposed to be the other way around, man. You know, it's supposed to be the other way around. It's sad. Like it's gotten so bad that they think so little of us that they trust the client more than us. They more loyal to the client than they are to us. You know what I mean? They gonna fuck with that client. They gonna make the client the boyfriend and start a family with them, have kids with them, get married to them, all kind of shit. You dig? But it ain't never supposed to be like that. The trust level with the client is way too high. It's not supposed to be like that. You know what I mean? That's like negotiating with a terrorist, man. Hold on. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Lady Biz. Phoenix. Unfortunately, um, it goes hand in hand because just like you could say that, right? Um, reread what you said. They more focused on sending you and they not really helping you. Most guys in the game, and I agree with you. But on the flip side of that coin, you gotta realistically look and say like, well, it's not really many ladies in the game that have an appreciation for game, an appreciation for knowledge, an appreciation for information, an appreciation for professionalism, an appreciation for control in situations between them and clientele. Most young ladies ain't thinking about any of that. All they thinking about is money. All they thinking about is the benefit. But once again, like I said, they're not thinking about how to be responsible for that benefit. You know, everybody want to have credit for the success, but they're not taking credit for the failures. You know what I mean? That's one thing real winners have in common. Real winners, real successful people, they're just as responsible for their failures as they are for their success. You know, because most young ladies in the game, if they hit a lick right now, they're going to be like, yeah, I hit that $100,000 lick. I did that. That was me. That was my home that did that. Woo, woo, woo. But if they blow it, they're going to blame it on somebody else or something else. Uh, if if he didn't have this fucked up attitude, then it would have went like this. Or if this stupid bitch, she was my partner, she's supposed to make it happen with me. But if she wasn't stupid, if she didn't make this mistake, then it would have happened. Or you know, if the weather wasn't like this, then my night would have went like that. Blaming everybody else and everything else but yourself. But a real successful person, just like they're gonna take credit for that lick happening, they're gonna take credit for the lick not happening as well, or for the situation not going well as well. First person they're gonna be looking at, and the first thing they're gonna be looking at is they self. This is my fault why this didn't happen. I could have did this in order to make this happen, but instead of doing this, I didn't. I did that. You know what I mean? That you got to be responsible for both. So, um, a lot of young ladies in the game, they just got to be real with themselves about the fact that um, you got to have a responsibility for your home, which is having an appreciation for game. That's a responsibility that you're supposed to have. You know, you got to have an appreciation for game. And like I said, when it comes to dealing with these clients, you got to have a desire for game, a desire for control, a desire for professionalism, you know, a desire for knowledge, a desire to win, ambition. That's another thing that a lot of young ladies lack. They want attention and notoriety more so than anything. You know, a lot of young ladies, they don't mind being broke and fucked up as long as they got 1 million followers on Instagram. Shit crazy. Instead of not having a damn Instagram at all, but be balling out of control. Priorities is just all fucked up. So yeah, I agree with you, Miss Lady Biz Phoenix, that there are a majority of young men in the game who all they want to do is send a female and have her come back with some money, and they're not really concerned with helping them or teaching them anything or being an asset to them in any type of way. But on the same token, guys like that wouldn't have any action at the young ladies in the game if the young ladies in the game saw higher, if they wanted more, if they were more ambitious, if they had a bigger vision, a bigger appetite for success. Those types of guys wouldn't even have action at them. Because that's one thing about this game. The young ladies in the game, when they've dealt with a high caliber gentleman, them types of guys that you describing, they don't even stand a chance. They don't have no action. They don't even appeal. You know, that young lady, she's not gonna let them have access to her mind and her ears like that. They're not even gonna be able to penetrate. They're not gonna be able to get in. It's not gonna work. You did. So, like I say, it's easy for us to be like, this is why I'm not winning. That's why I'm not winning. That's the reason why I'm not winning. But the moment you're gonna start winning is when you could tell yourself, this is the reason why I'm not winning. I need to look at this. It's something with this I need to tighten up. It's something with this that's lacking. It's something with this that I'm neglecting, that I'm not paying attention to, that is malnourished, that is weak and vulnerable. It's something with this I need to tighten up. And that's when I'm going to be more successful. Because this affects this, and this. You know, when this is built up to a certain point, this right here, this person over here that had access to you when you was weak and vulnerable, they're not going to have access to you or appeal to you when you strong and powerful. Same with that one and that one. You dig? You got to tighten up. Hold on. Let me see what y'all talking about. Yeah, Lady of Leisure, like Marcus Mitchell said, is supposed to be one with the family. And the way that you become one with the family is just coming in with the mindset of cooperation, coming in with the mindset of what you stand to gain as opposed to what you stand to lose. That's the thing. Like, a lot of young ladies, they get so wrapped up in what the little that they have, and not wanting to lose that, they don't even have a concept of what they stand to gain. Because a young lady coming into a family situation with some ism, with the right mindset, she's not thinking about anything that she got to lose. All she's thinking about is what she got to gain. And when you're thinking about what you got to gain, you're thinking about what's necessary in order to gain that. You're thinking about the price that you have to pay in order to gain that. And the price that you have to pay is cooperation with the ism. That's if you want to be at your best. If you want to fully maximize your potential or your potential. You dig? You gotta come in with the mindset of what you want and what it's gonna cost to get that. You dig? Yeah, got to be at your best. I don't like your name. I ain't gonna even repeat your damn name. You need to change your name, FP. That don't even exist. That's like your name might as well be Unicorn or Leprechaun or something like that. You know, I'm outside. It's these bugs. Excuse my pimping. But yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know about y'all, but I'm feeling real good, man. Hold on, let me see what y'all talking about. They ain't seen no damn leprechaun in the tree. They seen a leprechaun in the movie. That little ugly motherfucker talk about, I needs me shilling. That's the only place they seen a leprechaun, or on a box of cereal. You know, some make-believe shit. That's where they seen a leprechaun. But Lady Biz Phoenix, you say, me wanting more is considered as fagging off, of which is not the case. I look back, excuse me, I'm getting notifications, my bad, blocking my screen. I look back and think about the pee my mom had or my auntie. I am looking to be my best, nothing more. I know what you mean by you think that the others in the game may think that you want more is considered fagging off. You know, that's really because you just, and it's unfortunate because it's not a lot of us around to go around in the game, you know. And what I mean by that is real gentlemen. That's gonna really be a young lady in the game's greatest asset. You know, once you really truly experience that, then you know that it's nothing more to want, because everything that you want is gonna come through that. that connection, that union, that bond that you got with the ism. Being a part of his situation and everything to do with it. Of course, ain't no situation in life perfect. You're gonna have ups, downs, and turnarounds, but you're gonna have more ups than anything dealing with some ism. That's just the way it's supposed to be. you know. And you got to stand for more. Like I say all the time, when you stand for more, you fall for less. You know, you just got to pay attention to certain gentlemen in the game. Pay attention to the ones that's different. Like I like to use Sinful all the time as an example, man. All of y'all know Sinful. Y'all know Sinful better than you know me. But I like to use him as an example because you might not know a whole lot about gentlemen in the game, real gentlemen, and you might not be real good at distinguishing the high caliber gentlemen from the guys that's just talking the good one and pretending to be high caliber gentlemen. But when you pay attention more so to the type of individual this is than just what you see, the way that they look, they might have some nice clothes on and nice hair done, and they might be handsome, or they might talk good and sound slick and all of that. But when you're able to look past the surface and see what type of man this is, like Sinful for example, how many gentlemen in the game do you see that have the type of generosity that Sinful has? This helping people the way that Sinful is. You know what I mean? It's going in their pockets and helping people outside the game the way Sinful is, as well as helping people in the game. You know what I mean? How many individuals in the game do you know like Sinful who don't smoke or drink or do drugs? You know, how many people do you know in the game like Sinful, this well versed in theology? The most well versed person in the game when it comes to theology and spirituality and all of that. How many people do you know like Sinful that just studies and reads as diligently as he does? How many selfless individuals in the game do you know like Sinful? You know what I mean? Like, it's easy to dress nice and be well groomed and look good. So when it comes to that, yeah, you might confuse certain people with the type of caliber that Sinful is if you're just talking about looks alone. Because yeah, he look good, but there's other people that look good too. Okay, you might even think certain people look better than Sinful. Okay, when it comes to talking, as far as originality, you ain't gonna meet too many people that match Sinful when it comes to speaking. But let's say you do. Let's say you do find somebody that's on his level when it comes to speaking and communicating. Okay, that's like I said, that's all easy. You know what I mean? You I could go look at somebody else the way they dress and I can mimic that. I could listen to the way this person talks and I can mimic that. But one thing you can't mimic is character though. Because that's something that you don't just see at face value. You can't mimic that. So that's what you got to learn to pay attention to as a young lady in this game when you making the choice of who you want to fuck with. You have to learn how to look past the superficial and see what's official and beneficial beyond the superficial. You got to be able to pay attention to the man beneath the surface, the character, the principles and values that drive this man to do what he do. You know what I mean? Because when you see somebody helping flood victims like Sinful has, you know, that's coming from a different place inside the man than the man that's, they only concerned with spending their money on getting high and feeling good, or going to the club and turning up, popping bottles, or doing drugs, or they whole main concern is just looking good. They done broke themselves on this car, or broke themselves to live in this house, or broke themselves to have all this designer clothes on, and they ain't got nothing to give or nothing to show for it after that, beyond that. You know what I mean? Those two agendas is coming from two totally different places. And like I said, that's something that you can't just mimic off of the next man. You know, because that character is coming from the core of the individual. You know what I mean? I can't just go look at his core. You know, his core ain't just sitting on top of his shirt, and I could just go look at it and copy it, and now my core is like his core. Nah, I don't work like that. You know what I mean? You can't just look at somebody and see what type of character they got. You got to really pay attention to the way they move. You got to really pay attention to their actions. You dig? And like I say, as a young lady in this game, when you learn how to pay attention to that, that's when you're going to be able to choose a high caliber gentleman in the game. That's when you're standing for more, so you're falling for less. That's when those low caliber dudes who might be selfish, or they just might not have their priorities in order, they might not be at the maturity level that they need to be as men underneath the P, but those types of guys won't have access to you. They won't even appeal to you. You won't look twice at them. When you standing for more, you won't fall for that. You dig? Hold on, reading y'all's comments. Hold on, hold on. I got to catch up. Yeah, you know it's some. Where you at? It's an art to live. Yeah, you know it's some high caliber gentlemen around this Scottsdale, Arizona. You dig? Hopefully you got something in your life. You ain't just talking about it, but you walking about it. You dig? Hold on, reading y'all's comments still. Nah, you can't mimic this game. You can't fake this. Yeah. Yeah, like H. Malay, or I guess that's how you say your name, Malay 985. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but yeah, what looks good isn't always good. You know, uh, you might go get an S class Mercedes. On the outside, it might look the same, but this one over here is a 550. This one over here is a 600. You know what I mean? This one doesn't have the same features on the inside that this one does. On the outside, they look the same. So if you're just going based on the look, you just gonna pick one, and you might not even know what you're getting. You might not know what's going on under the hood. You might not know what's going on with the transmission. Might not know what's going on with the features inside. You know what I mean? As far as comfortability and entertainment inside the ride, so on and so forth. You dig? So it's the same thing with this ism. You know what I mean? You might have a regular guy over here. You might have a high caliber guy over here, but if they look the same and that's all you're going off of is the look, you know what I mean? Your carnal desires more than likely. You ain't gonna never really be able to tell the difference. You got to be able to look inside, and I mean, to see what the features is underneath that surface. You dig? Reading these comments again. Hold on. Hold on, reading these comments still. Uh, Arizona Dre. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I don't want to. My bad, but like I was saying, Miss Arizona. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I don't want to Ginsu knife, chop suey, slice and dice your name like that. But you know, I'm talking to you. Uh, you right. You got dudes that don't like to answer a lot of questions, or don't like young ladies to ask them questions. But see, this is one thing that a high caliber gentleman is gonna look for. A high caliber gentleman is gonna look for a young lady that that focuses on her things that she has within her control. You know what I mean? Like when you focus on what's within your control, then you're gonna be highly effective on your own. You're gonna be highly independent. You know, because when you get with the ism, you're gonna have to be interdependent. Meaning the ism might be cool by over here without you. You might be cool over here without the ism. But when y'all come together, y'all coming together to create something greater than you would aside from each other. That's what interdependence is. But in order to do that, you have to be good enough independently over here, just like the ism is good enough independently over here. You know? So the independence, right? Um, like I said, you're focusing on what's within your control. It's within your control to do as much research as possible on the ism before you even get at the ism. And see, unlike back in the day, social media wasn't available. You didn't have a YouTube to get on and watch Freeze. You didn't have a YouTube to get on and watch Sinful and so on and so forth and watch all these documentaries on the game and see all these different P's pop it and, you know, see a lot of activity when it comes to the game. Once upon a time, you didn't have the internet at your fingertips to really see the game firsthand like you do today. So it was a lot of disadvantages that they had compared to now. Beauty of today, the beauty of today's times is that a young lady might be interested in a young gentleman in the game or an old gentleman in the game. Just a gentleman in the game, period. You dig? You might be interested. You have social media to learn so much. Social media is going to tell you a lot about a person that you might not know just seeing them down and around. You dig? But my point is, if you do a lot of research on your own, you'll answer a lot of questions that you have. You dig? That's just like, it's funny. I had a young lady on my line just yesterday, and I could just tell by the way she was getting at me that she had never messed with no real ism or no high caliber ism, or I should say, no real ism messed with her. Ain't no telling, she might have been in some real isms household, but she was the wrong girl for the right guy in the game, and it just didn't work out. But whatever the case is, she didn't have like the proper etiquette or understanding on the game, right? So she asked me, she say, well, I'm in a different state than you are. You know, do you ever travel? Because if you don't travel, then, you know, I apologize for wasting your time. And I said, you know, well, what does me traveling or not traveling have to do with anything? And she's like, oh, well, you know, it has nothing to do with nothing really, but you still, you know, going over my question though, like you not answering my question. You know what I mean? And I'm just looking at her funny because, like I said, the ism is looking for somebody who's self-sufficient and doing as much as possible on her own before she even approaches the ism. And this young lady who I'm talking about, if she did as much as possible on her own before she even approached me, that question that she asked me, she would have been able to answer herself. Because if you go on my social media, you can see that I've traveled all around the country. So that question alone, that's just one question that she could have answered on her own if she'd have did some research. But she just looked at me. She probably saw a video or something on Facebook or a picture or something or a status or something like that that sparked the interest and she wanted to get at me, but she had a lot of questions in her mind and she could have answered on her own. You did? And if she answered certain questions on her own, she might not even got at me. She might have been less interested or she might have been more interested, whatever the case may be. But it's just good when you're a young lady in the game, like I said, this as independent and self-sufficient as you can be. You dig? Yeah, who said that? Where you at? I scrolled past you. Chief Nakaho. Investigate before you invest. Yeah, that's just like that's just like I might want to buy a used car, right? And this used car might be in the next state over from where I am. You know, I'm not just gonna look at the car and say, damn, that motherfucker clean. That shit got some nice rims on it. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna just go all the way to California to get this car just because it has nice rims on it. Nah. Before I even call the person and inquire about the car, I'm gonna read the article in full. The sales article. It might be on Craigslist or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna read and see what all the features are on it. It might have things wrong with it. That might be in the description. I'm gonna read about that and see, if the things wrong with it are things that I can deal with or things that I'd rather not deal with. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be paying attention to the mileage. I'm gonna be paying attention to, what kind of sound system is in there. I'm gonna be looking at the pictures. I'm gonna be zooming them in. Oh, I see a scratch right there. The seat got a tear in it. I don't know if I want that. You know what I mean? These are things that somebody who's concerned about what they investing in is going to investigate, like Chief Nakaho said. You know, before before you invest, you want to investigate. Investigate what you plan on investing in. You dig? If you're gonna do that with a car, how much more imperative is it to do that with some ism? You know, see, a lot of young ladies, they just, like I said, they be going off of face value, man. They might think a motherfucker sexy or whatever the case may be, but that less physically attractive P might be the best P for you. You never know. Yeah. Read some more of these comments, man. Hold on, let's see what y'all talking about. FP, I really need you to change your name. I don't like your name. Ain't no such thing as that. I'm gonna start calling you Unicorn. Lady Unicorn, that's your name. Hold on. Dang, it's a lot of comments, y'all. I'm going through, reading. Hold on. Shallow minds drown in 3 feet. Wayne Wonder, you ain't never lied. You ain't never lied, man. He said Arizona, those aren't real peas at all. Yeah. It's an art to love. Arizona, you are so right on that one. They don't respect you when you need to fill them out. Well, it's an art to love. That kind of ties into what I was saying. You know, you really got a lot of filling out that you can do before you even approach that gentleman. You just sit back and observe. You dig? You'd be surprised what you figure out. Female unicorn. You don't need to ask questions to choose. That's true. A lot of times, a lot of young ladies don't even know. Sometimes that'd be your best choice. It's okay to ask a few questions, but you don't want to get to the point where you kind of like interviewing the ism more so than the ism interviewing you. You know, you trying to get the ism to prove himself, but you ain't proved nothing. You want to prove yourself as well. You got to show yourself approved. Dr. Pimp McLean, welcome in, man. I see you. I appreciate that. Appreciate you tapping in. Female unicorn, there you go again, talking shit. You ain't really talking shit, but you talking shit. Sir Breed, like you said, they're not doing proper interviews. That's what she's missing. You right about that, you know what I mean? A lot of cats, you know what I mean, they don't be conducting proper interviews like you said. Like they kind of just like when they get a female on their line, they go with the flow and they let her kind of dictate the conversation and things like that. You know what I mean? And that should be a sign to a young lady right there that that might not be the best choice for you if you approach a gentleman and he's just kind of like letting you dictate the conversation. Now, it's a difference from sitting back listening to you and letting you break down what's going on with yourself versus you dictating the conversation and he just allowing that. You know what I mean? You really got to know the difference. But I'm going to leave that to you to figure out, ladies. It's an art to love. You said some of them don't want you to do interviews at all, just want you to choose based on their appearance. If it's somebody like that, then like I just slid that notification across my screen, just do them like that. You dig? Like me, that's just me myself. A lot of times when a young lady, because I've had young ladies want to choose me just based on my appearance, and a lot of times I kind of like pimp the situation in the type of way that's gonna like make her inclined to figure out more reasons and do more thinking about the situation. And once she's done that more thinking, if I'm still somebody that she want to fuck with, then we can move from there. But I, like me myself, I'm skeptical about a young lady who only wants to choose me based on my appearance, because it's like if you're neglecting all these other important aspects of making a choice, then what else might you be neglecting? You know what I mean? You might be neglecting certain aspects of your life that's gonna make me vulnerable by associating myself with you, and I definitely can't do that. So yeah, that's that can be a scary thing, choosing based on appearance. You might be accepting a snitch into your household. She might be a setup artist. She might want to hurt you in some type of way. You know what I mean? And there ain't no telling what you might be accepting in the household if you just letting her come in like that. Yep. Yep. Sir Breed, very true. A lot of them don't do their homework, so they end up taking a fall. That's real. It is burning up out here. I don't know, man. Dr. Pimpin' McLean says, question, Freeze. Pretty hoes versus average hoes. Who makes the best money? I'm going to say hoes who have a nice balanced combination of cooperation and confidence and desire. You know, because you might have a case where this young lady's really attractive and she just so happens to be very ambitious and very confident. So, naturally, a young lady like that is going to be real successful. Then you might have a young lady who's very attractive, and she might be real ambitious too, but she's not really confident in herself. She doesn't really believe, she doesn't understand the uh the capabilities that she has. She doesn't understand her full potential. So like I said, she might be attractive, she might have ambition, but she don't have the level of confidence that she needs. Then you might have a girl that looked like Whoopi Goldberg in her prime, you dig? And she might obviously not be the most physically attractive, but she got that ambition and she got that confidence. She knows she the shit. She know that when it's down to her in this trick, he's gonna give her. He's giving it up. She's gonna get it. She's not walking away empty-handed. She's not walking away half full-handed. She's walking away fully banked up, and he's walking away bled dry. You know what I mean? That's a situation where, like I said, she definitely ain't the prettiest, but she got the ambition and she got the confidence to make it happen. Of course, the ideal situation is the first young lady that I described, which is attractive, ambitious, and confident. You dig? But the ambition and the confidence to me are more important than the looks. So that's the way I see that. You know what I mean? She got to be ambitious, and within that ambition is her desire to shine and be shining with the ism, to want to see you with it. You dig? Right, like Sir Breeze said, pretty is as pretty does. And the pretty does has a lot to do with confidence and ambition. That's what I look for more than anything. Of course, I want a pretty young lady represent me. You know, I don't want to be walking through the mall with a wildebeest. But like I said, man, I don't want to be walking through the mall with a young lady. I got to put a paper bag over her head, and we walk through the mall. She got the eyes cut out, and we walking in like, yeah, baby, you know what I mean? Try them shoes on and so on. Like, nah, I ain't trying to be walking through the mall like that, man. Not the freeze. She ain't got to walk through the mall with me with a bag on my head. So, hey, man, I can't, man. I'm not trying to do that. No. Hold on. Utopia of Davis. Good afternoon. I see you. I know I'm kind of slow with the comments because I wasn't keeping up with them as I go along, so I'm going back, man. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Yarmis Potter. Freeze, how long until you decide to take a lady in to take a lady, I guess you meant to say in your household? Uh because every young lady is different, you can't really put a time limit on that. You know, I might meet a young lady today, and tonight somebody try to kill me, and she try to put herself in the way to save my life. She might put her life on the line for mine. You dig? It'd be pretty safe to say that that's a trustworthy young lady, that that's a loyal young lady, a young lady who really want to see me with it. So, of course, somebody like that with a move like that is gonna earn my trust. But in most cases, it don't go like that. So it takes time to figure out if somebody is trustworthy enough and loyal enough and respectful enough to invite into the household like that. But every individual is different, man. So you never know, man. It might take a week. It might take months. In most cases, it's probably gonna take some time. But everybody's different. So because everybody's different, it's just like a race. Everybody start at the starting line, but we all get to the finish line at different times. You dig? Yeah, the game is different, McLean. I mean, dangerous. Excuse my ism. Miss Arizona says, P say a lot of times these days that girls aren't choosing these days or they aren't coming financially correct. What is some advice you can give these girls on where to start? Well, like I said, uh, before you start, you should prepare yourself. That's just like I'm in the fitness. I like to work out and I follow fitness stuff like that. Um, Mr. Olympia just passed. So, bodybuilder competition. You got guys competing to be the best bodybuilder in the world, right? They didn't just show up to the stage on the day of the competition and, just because they're them, they might have a handsome face and they might have good genetics or whatever the case may be, they thinking they're going to win. No, they prepared themselves. They paid the price in order to get on that stage. You know what I mean? And a big part of that price was dedication, sacrifice of maybe social time. They might have sacrificed sleep. They might have sacrificed, you know, enduring pain. It's a lot of things that factored into the price that they had to pay to make it onto that stage to even qualify. It might be thousands of people trying to make it there, but they're the exceptional few that made it there. That became the finalists. They paid the price. They didn't just think that because they lift weights like me. I lift weights and shit, and I have, what some people might consider to be an above average body, but I ain't nowhere near on the level of a Mr. Olympia. So just because I lift weights, I know that I ain't gonna be able to just walk on the stage with them dudes and just be able to compete like that. First of all, I don't even qualify. I ain't gonna even make it on there. And then even if they do bless me to make it on there, I'm gonna be embarrassed like a motherfucker. I'm gonna get dusted because I didn't pay the same price that they paid to get there. I didn't put in the same type of dedication, the same time and effort and discipline that they did. You dig? So I say all that to say, you got to prepare yourself before you approach the ism as a young lady, especially if you really shopping around and like I said, you paying attention to what's official and beneficial beyond the superficial. You looking beneath the surface to see what type of man this gentleman is that you interested in, and he turns out to be everything that you would like to have in your life. You feel like he's the best choice. Once you've made that decision up in your mind, you need to prepare yourself so that when you approach this man, there's as little to figure out as possible. You know what I mean? You making it easier for yourself to make a decision because you figured out as much about this man as you could, and you making it easier for him to accept you because unlike most young ladies, because most young ladies who approach the ism, they they don't know anything about the gentleman that they getting at because they, like I said, they didn't do their research, and then two, um, they don't have any money stacked. They don't have any. They like she said, like Miss Arizona said, they just financially unprepared. So 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna you're not gonna make the cut with a high caliber gentleman. And a dude that does take you like that 9 times out of 10 is somebody that you don't even want. So like I said, it's best to just be prepared. It's best to just separate yourself. Just like how earlier, for those of y'all who was tuned in earlier when I was giving Sinful as an example of, you know, like, yeah, other people might be able to match his appearance, but they can't match his character. As a young lady in the game, you need to be thinking the same way. Before you approach the ism, you got to think about how many like average young ladies that don't have their priorities in order, They thinking about what they get, what they can gain from the ism, but they're not thinking about the price that they have to pay in order to get with the ism. And I'm not just talking about financially, monetary, but as far as character goes, you know, most young ladies ain't thinking about that. So as a young lady who's serious, the way you separate yourself is you prepare yourself for one. You know what I mean? And then when you present yourself to the ism, your presentation is just gonna be different because you got a different type of character, because just the fact that you prepared yourself shows that your character is different. That preparation is coming from a different place than these young ladies who are unprepared. You dig? So yeah, basically you want to be thinking about how you're gonna separate yourself from the average young lady. The average young lady is broken, fucked up, and they wait until, because it might have been a time where they was doing good, but they wait until they all the way fucked up to get at the ism. That's the average young lady. When they doing good, they not thinking about the ism, so it's not really something that they want. They only want it right now because they fucked up and they feel like the ism could get them out the hole. And then two, they come off as selfish because they not thinking about what they need to bring to the table in order to make the ism want to fuck with them. They don't even think about making the ism, like, appealing to the ism. Like I said, making the ism want to fuck with them. They don't even think about that type of stuff. They think that just because they're a female and they willing to get down and they willing to hand him whatever they make, that he's going to accept them. But a high caliber gentleman, he's serious about everything that he has going on. So he's not accepting just everything that's willing to come. So like I said, a young lady who's serious about some ism, because I'm gonna tell you now, most young ladies is the financial part, like she said, most of them, like 99% is unprepared. 99% is getting on the isms line and don't have nothing to bring to the table. And it's probably also 99% that don't do their research about the ism, so they asking the ism a whole bunch of questions that they can answer themselves if they just take the time to do the research. You dig? So think about what it's going to take to separate yourself and make yourself look different and be a standout. Because if this ism is a standout, then you want to be a standout to him. You like, it only makes sense if he's a standout for you to be a standout too. You dig? Anything else would be uncivilized. Nah, TV. She said, "Wow, that ain't what the TV teach you. TV gonna teach you something totally different. TV got a whole totally different agenda. Like, Sinful, that's my brother. So I'm always big him up and use him as an example because he's a model example of what this ism is, right? The media, and Sinful ain't the only one. I got numerous P partners that when Hurricane Harvey hit and when Hurricane Irma hit, I got numerous P partners that was like down in the trenches, really helping people, pulling up on people, know what I mean, bringing people water, bringing people food, know what I mean, helping people, get to where they needed to go, and helping rescue people, so on and so forth. Like, I know real stomped down P's that was doing that, numerous ones, as well as donating money. But the TV definitely ain't gonna teach you that. The TV wants to teach you that every P in the game is a monster, a selfish monster that only, exploits women and drags them through the mud and uses them for selfish gain and never does anything for them, uses them up, chews them up, and spits them out. That's what they want you to think about the ism. So of course, yeah, the stuff that I'm talking about, the stuff that Sinful was talking about, the stuff that a lot of us are doing behind the scenes to help people. TV ain't gonna never teach you none of that. They want to teach you that the ism is a monster because, the more of us that they lock away forever and ever, the more money they make. It's the war on drugs all over again, except for, the product ain't cocaine no more. The product is women. You know, and it's not a dope dealer no more. It's a pimp. You dig? But just like the war on drugs was blown out of proportion, so is the war on human trafficking. You know what I mean? The stuff that they call human trafficking is something totally different. But that's a whole nother video. You dig? Actually, I got a video on that. You know what I mean? Pimping and human trafficking is not the same. And I'm pretty sure at some point in time I'll do another video on that. But yeah, the TV ain't gonna teach you a lot of shit that this is gonna teach you. That's my bottom line point. You dig? Yeah, it's gonna be confusing to a square. You know, the difference between pimping and hoeing and human trafficking. Uh, there's very little human trafficking actually going on. You know, like I said, it's confusing to a square, but to the people in the game, we know what's real. And what's real is that that's not really real. That's not really happening. Most young ladies in the game are not being forced to do anything. Because check this out. I got partners. I got numerous partners that's locked down for human trafficking. One of my partners got 27 and a half years. Uh, Another one of my close partners is doing 14 years right now. Another one of my partners is doing 18 years. Like, I could keep going. Like, I got a whole bunch of partners that's down for human trafficking, right? And human trafficking, when you do the research on it, it entails uh, force. You're either forcing a young lady to do what she's doing, you're coercing her to do what she's doing, or you're intimidating her to do what she's doing. But basically, somehow, some way, you're getting her to do something against her will. Out of fear of whatever consequence, that's the reason why she's doing this. But if it's really human trafficking, like I said, these cats that I just mentioned is doing all this time, right? The young ladies that they went down behind, that they supposedly forced, intimidated, or coerced, they still, like my partners, some of them ain't never getting out. But these young ladies is still doing what they doing. So what, they coercing themselves to do it for themselves? They forcing themselves to do it for themselves? They intimidating themselves to do it for themselves? You know what I mean? Because if you're really being human trafficked, if you're really being forced, intimidated, or coerced, once you get out of that situation, you're gonna be so terrified because that's something that you never really wanted to do, and you was being forced to do it. That's gonna be the last thing on your mind to do. But why are they still doing it though? And that's damn near all of these damn human trafficking victims. You know what I mean? If they really such victims, then why they victimizing themselves after the P is taken out of the picture? Some BS. So like I said, to a square, this only watching TV and they ain't got the inside scoop from somebody in the game, yeah, it's gonna be real confusing. But once you get involved in the game, there's no confusion at all. You know, the media, they really responsible for a whole lot of what's called social engineering. You know what I mean? They get people to you are what you eat. That's why me, um, because of the my culture, the lifestyle that I live, and the people that I interact with, to a certain extent, I follow up with the ignorance. Like love and hip hop, or uh, whatever stupid shit is viral on the internet at the time, or whatever the case may be. I keep up with it, but I don't let it consume me. You know, you to some degree, you got to guard your soul. You got to guard your mind. You know what I mean? Just like you guard your body. You have to guard these things. You have to regulate what you allow to come into it, because if you allow a bunch of junk food, and when I say junk food, love and hip hop is junk food for the mind and soul and the heart. You know what I mean? Uh, a lot of the ignorant shit that goes viral on the internet is junk food for the mind, soul, and heart. So you want to regulate it. You know, just like my body, right? I eat healthy most of the time, but I have what's called a cheat day sometimes. You know, some people take a cheat day once a week. Some people take a cheat day once a month. Some people don't have cheat days at all. But whenever I feed myself some love and hip hop, or some black ink, or some, like I said, some ignorant bullshit that's viral online or whatever's trending at the time, that's kind of like a cheat day for my mind, soul, and my heart. You know, but I don't overindulge in that type of stuff because I don't want it to consume me. Because once it consumes me, it's going to influence my actions in the wrong type of way. It's going to have me off track. It's going to take me away from my agenda. It's going to take me away from my responsibilities. It's going to take me away from my priorities and things that's important to me. You know what I mean? It's going to take me away from my progression. So I can't do that. So, like I said, you really gotta guard yourself in them areas, because, uh, like I said, the media, social media, TV, and so on and so forth, they do a lot of social engineering. They put all that bullshit in your face because they're able to control you with that. You know, if they want you to be on drugs, if they want you to, a lot of y'all to, if they want drugs to appeal to you, they'll put it in your music. They'll put it in the movies that you like. They'll put it in the TV shows that you like. You know, if they want more of you to be disrespectful towards men and be ratchet as hell and call men bitches and so on and so forth, they'll put that in the music. You know what I mean? They're gonna put that in love and hip hop. If you look at love and hip hop in the Black Ink shows in New York and Chicago and so forth, how many men on those shows are like dominant? How many men on? Because a lot of them shows they got, relationships. They got square relationships going on. How many of them shows can, or characters, relationships in them shows can you think of where the female might be talking crazy to the man, calling him a bitch and all this different type of shit, and he like, bitch, if you don't shut your ass up, watch your mouth talking to me. Show some respect. How many men do you see like that on the show? You know what I mean? And it ain't got to be on no violent shit, but it's just some man shit. You know, just like it's different. Like I've said before, it's a difference between when you was a child, your mama saying, boy, sit down somewhere, and your daddy saying, boy, sit down somewhere. It's gonna have a different effect. You know what I mean? So it's that man shit. You're not seeing that on these TV shows, because, like I said, it's that social engineering. You know what I mean? They want the women to be a certain type of way. They want the women to be overtly aggressive and, borderline masculine, and they want the men to be like real docile. Notice is mostly, excuse me, for the interruption, but like I said, mostly it's black men that they got being real, docile and, timid and soft when it comes to dealing with a woman. You know what I mean? A man should be able to say, woman, if you don't sit your ass down somewhere, me, I'm a different type of bitch. If you don't sit your ass down, running your mouth, sit down and be quiet. You know, ain't nobody on them shows, Love and Hip Hop and Black Ink and all that. It's the woman telling him to sit down and be quiet. Shit is all the way totally backwards, man. But yeah, we done touched on a whole lot, man. We've been live kind of for a little minute, you dig? But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up because I keep getting interruptions, and it might be to be 100 with you because I'm outside and the temperature is rising, and I'm in this Arizona heat, so my phone might be overheating. That's why I keep on stopping and interrupting. But I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. I appreciate the thumbs up, the 33 thumbs up that I see. You know, I would appreciate it if everybody, I know it might be a lot to do for some, but that thumbs up thing that you see right there, I appreciate it if you tap that motherfucker for a pimp and hit that subscribe button as well. Comment, like, share, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? Until we meet again, holla at your boy, Freezes it.